More money is not better. David Jaffe with BestStockStrategy.com, and in this video we're going to discuss why you should not strive to make more money. The fact is that once you reach a certain level of wealth, the incremental dollar amount is not going to significantly impact your happiness. As a result, I believe that people should strive for more freedom. Freedom, in my opinion, is defined as being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, with the caveat that actions that you take to do whatever you want, whenever you want, do not impose and do not harm other people. So again, I believe it is extremely important that instead of striving for money, that people strive for more freedom. And by doing so, they have the ability to do whatever they want, whenever they want, as long as it does not impose and harm other people. A good example of this is when I worked as an investment banker. I graduated from an Ivy League university, and all of my friends and colleagues were going into investment banking, private equity, and hedge funds. I was then hired by Morgan Stanley, CIBC World Markets, and also Pesky Prunier. And I hated my experience as an investment banker. I felt compelled to continue because I had invested so much time and effort into becoming an investment banker. And also I felt that outside of that financial bubble, people felt that I was extremely lucky, that I was doing really well. What they didn't realize is that internally I was suffering because there is so much stress that is inherent in the investment banking environment that myself, as well as virtually every single one of my colleagues, were completely miserable. And that's why so many people leave investment banking. The reason why I'm telling you this story is that it is extremely important to not strive to make as much money as possible. And it is also extremely important to not make your happiness contingent upon you hitting a certain annual income or you achieving a certain amount of wealth accumulation. Many people believe, and myself when I was in my early 20s, believed that I will stop when I reach X amount of dollars. The problem with that level of thinking is that once you reach that level of wealth or that goal, you are going to convince yourself that you set your goal too low. So for myself, when I was in my early 20s, I told myself that even though I hated my job, that I would then quit once I reached a certain level of wealth accumulation. Once I hit that level and degree of wealth accumulation, I then chastised myself for setting my goal too low, and then I 10x'd my goal, and I continued working in that very harmful and negative environment. As a result, I think it's extremely important to take care of yourself, both your physical well-being, to eat right, your spiritual well-being, to be psychologically sound. And I definitely believe that if I had an option, I would always choose to make less money as long as I had more freedom. When I worked as an investment banker, I remember walking home from the office at about 10 p.m. and I would be so scared because if I received one email from my director, I would immediately have to walk back into the office, and that one email could keep me in the office until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. It was a constant feeling of dread and trepidation and fear, and that is something that I would not wish on anyone. So I know that if I was in my early 20s and I was watching this video, I would probably disagree with everything that I'm saying right now. However, I strongly encourage you to build legitimate skills and to work towards something that provides you with freedom, that also provides you with a sense of accomplishment and that you're passionate about. Even if you start out making less money, but you're working in something that you're passionate about, I highly recommend that you pursue that as opposed to trying to take the money and work in something that you are just going to quit after 2 or 3 years. Because when you quit, you will have to start over again and you will never be able to get that time back. No amount of money ever bought back even 1 second of time. As a result, I think that it is incumbent upon you to pursue your passions. And while I definitely believe that money is important, I believe that individuals should pursue their long-term goals, and that as long as they add value and focus on building and acquiring legitimate skills, that the money will take care of itself. I also believe that it's not important to do things specifically for money. There are things that I can do in my current business that would add substantial revenue, such as adding webinars, but I just view webinars as very sleazy and is just not something that I want to get involved with because I have no motivation to do it. So do not be motivated by money. I definitely believe that it is important to use money to mitigate and reduce your stress so that you can live a happier life. By mitigating and reducing your stress, you will live a more fulfilling life, you will live a more able life, you will live a longer life, and also you will be more pleasant around the people around you. Now, I am not saying that you should tolerate foolish people or negative people. So if you come in contact with someone who is bringing down your mood or is just simply not taking care of themselves or they're self-destructive, then I wholeheartedly encourage you to cut those people off. But at the same time, if you surround yourself with good people and you have enough money and you are able to mitigate your stress while also taking care of your health, both psychologically, spiritually, and physically, those are the pillars and a strong foundational components to living a very happy life. David Jaffe with BestStockStrategy.com. You can visit BestStockStrategy.com, enter in your email address to receive over $400 of valuable free options trading content. If you have a comment, leave it below. I respond to everyone's comments. Let me know your thoughts on whether you believe people should strive to make even more money, even at the expense of increasing their stress beyond tolerable levels, because everything is always on a spectrum. There's no way that you can do something and amass wealth and accomplish things without incurring a certain amount of stress. But at the same time, stress tends to have a certain hormetic effect where a little bit is beneficial, but too much of it is extremely deleterious. So I'm not saying that you should pursue one at the complete expense of the other, but at the same time, I believe that when you're forced into a negative environment, you can incur too much stress on the opposite end of the spectrum where it becomes extremely harmful. And those are the type of environments that I strongly believe that one should remove themselves from. So leave a comment below and let me know whether you agree or not, and I appreciate your attention.